Welcome back. This is the BBBC's 16-part series, Elvis Presley, Martial Artist. And as many of you may know from following along, Elvis Presley was a very talented martial artist. In this episode, number 3, we will discuss whether or not there was controversy surrounding the unreleased documentary Tiger Man, which is reminiscent of another documentary I saw that had a tiger in it. But anyway, on the line today, I have Melvis Preston. Melvis claims that Elvis Presley stole his, and I quote, great-granddaddy's sweet karate moves, man. Melvis, is this true?
Well, yes, sir, that's correct. One day, my great-granddaddy was outside practicing some of his sweet karate moves, man. And just then, a big Cadillac automobile pulled up, and a young man jumped out and said, "Hey, can you show me some of them sweet karate moves, man? I'm doing a documentary downtown, and I want you to come by the documentary and show everybody those sweet karate moves, man." So we spent some of the time in the afternoon practicing for Elvis, showing him some sweet karate moves. And by the time they got down there to downtown, somebody had jumped my granddaddy backstage, stole his beautiful gi, and stole his sweet karate moves, man. Now, I'm not saying it's Elvis, but that wasn't his original name. I'm Melvis III.
You know, Melvis, listening to you, you sound a lot like Elvis Presley. Is that your regular cadence of your voice?
I'm sorry, so this is the same cadence I've had all my life. My daddy had it and his daddy before him. As far as the name goes, you can make your own conclusions. But Melvis certainly sounds a lot like Elvis. And also, he stole them sweet karate moves, man.
We'll be right back with more of the BBBC's 16-part series, Elvis Presley, Martial Artist. That's truly fascinating, yeah? What do you think? You think he stole the moves? I don't know. He stole all the music. Sure, he stole the moves, too. I mean, they were kind of sweet karate moves. What's up, people? Welcome back to the BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. This is episode number 36, and it's your boy Lucky from Lucky's Muay Thai. In this episode, we're going to talk about our trip to Daytona. We had some great fights up there. We loved it, and we had some great success, so we'll chat about that. Also, what's next? 4-year anniversary is coming up. Can you believe it? Because, I mean, I can and can't. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. The WMO is coming to Miami and putting on a Muay Thai show. Thank goodness we're finally getting some Muay Thai in Miami. We've had some, but we haven't had like a big show like this. So I'm excited that it's happening, and I finally got somebody on it. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about the One Championship debut on TNT, which was, it was all right. Could have been better. But before we get into that, if you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend, drop me a comment below, hit me up at Lucky's Muay Thai on Instagram. Let me know what's popping in your neck of the woods. I'm curious to know about your training, and also if you like what we do. All right? Hit me up. So let's talk Daytona. I took Keanu and Carl up to Daytona for Muay Thai fights with Crew Dominic, who owns Elite Muay Thai, has put on shows for a long time. This was Siam Fights 71, I believe, and I fought on his shows way back. So these are shows that I really love to be on, and I love to take people to be on, and we had a great time. The production is great. They treat you fantastic, and to be honest, it felt good to go and do that in that way, because we've been sort of, like I've said before, subject to having to be on point kickboxing tournaments, because those are the ones that are most readily available, which I love too. Also on a lot of MMA shows, which is also great because if it's the only fight you can get, that's fantastic. But it's awesome to go and be on a Muay Thai specific show, which we just don't get very often. And I think I got to see something fantastic from Keanu and something completely different from Carl. So let's talk about Keanu first. And I'm not going to blow his head up too much, but I will tell you this. He's quietly, over the last 2 years, been very humble, and very studious. One of the hardest studying guys and hardest working guys that I've ever trained. So every now and then you see these glimpses in the gym of him putting a bunch of things together and you're like, oh, that's pretty fucking good. Then when he walked out for this fight, I've seen him at PKBs. We've done pretty well. But this was not the same guy that stepped into that ring on that night. So he went out, caught his opponent early, and exchanged a few kicks in the in-between, and then took him out with an uppercut later in the round. So about a minute 30. But it wasn't the fight necessarily that I thought was fantastic from him. What I thought was fantastic was his demeanor, his attitude, and maintaining his composure throughout the entire process. Never got away from what his ideas and ideals are. And that's the thing I love about him. I think he's on a mission, and I'm so happy to be coaching him along this road. And shout out to Crew Dom for putting on a fantastic show again. Carl went in. He comes from a point fighting style. He's fought a couple of Muay Thai fights or kickboxing fights. This was his first Muay Thai fight at a Muay Thai event. And I'm sure the nerves were a lot. I'm sure styles were a lot. There was a lot going on. First time being coached under me. And with all the nerves, he went out and went through, a brawl, a messy fight, a very in close, clinching, throwing each other around type of fight. And he went out, and in the third round, in the corner, I told him, I don't know where this is going. And it doesn't matter what you believe that the refs or the judges might see. You need to go out right now and handle business. And he went out when the bell rang and immediately handled business, which put him, I think, over the top for the fight. So whether they thought one way or the other, I think it secured the victory. And it showed me that he understood the coaching and the prompting that I was giving him without delay. He went directly in and did exactly what he was supposed to do. So I'm stoked, man. It was a freaking amazing time. I got to see some wonderful things. My daughter had to come, so she had to be in the locker room, right? Backstage while we're working out and warming up and walking out with us when we took the fighters out, which was kind of crazy. My girl came and she cornered, which she's been cornering the last bunch of fights because Jacob hasn't been able to. And she's done a fantastic job. So shouts out to Abia. I can't believe, now she's legit knows what to do in the corner. Everything's organized. I mean, better than I think I've ever been organized in the corner. So, and I'm not trying to, I know it's my girl. I'm not trying to win points. I'm just saying. And that's the stuff I appreciate because I didn't have to think about anything. Everything I needed was pretty much right there when I needed it. And that's what I love. So everything was easy and everybody made it easy. All the people that trained, all the people that helped get these fighters ready, all the guys in the gym, everybody that helped do this. This is your victory. It's not just, Keanu's and Carl's and mine and Jay. It's everybody's victory. So, boom, I appreciate that. And that leads me to this. The WMO is a sanctioning body from Thailand. They're coming to Miami. They're putting on a big Muay Thai show. And it's going to have some great fights on it. A couple of local fighters. And I was trying to get one or both of the fighters on it, and I was having a hard time. I wrote some text messages, some DMs, and ultimately we got Keanu on the card, so I'm super stoked about that. I wanted to get a couple other people on, but it was just not to be happening. So all I can say is on the 1st of May, get tickets. If you like Muay Thai, if you like kickboxing, and you haven't had any that you've been able to be to a show in Miami, get tickets and go support so we can get these people coming back. The WMO does shows all over, and I'd just be stoked if they were a regular staple in Miami 2-3 times a year, putting on a big fight, a big show, putting out belts and all that stuff. It would just be fantastic if we could have that. So please go and support. Keanu will be out there putting his best foot forward, trying to get that second victory in a row. And shout out to Carl for his work. We back in the gym. This is our 3rd fight camp in a row. It's nonstop, baby. Stick with us. It ain't over. Okay, so let's talk One Championship. They debuted on TNT, and it was okay, right? There was stuff that you didn't want to happen on your main card. And the first thing you don't want to happen on your main card is Eddie Alvarez to be disqualified in a dominant position and landing illegal blows, right? He's hitting to the ear. The man turns his head. He continues to throw punches. He's hitting in the back of the head. The man is, basically incapacitated. A couple of hammer fists before the ref can get in there. Fight's over. He's disqualified. And, everybody's out there trying to make their paycheck, earn their living, and nobody wants to see anybody get DQ'd for that. Nobody wants to win like that. Nobody wants to lose like that. So, kind of a crappy way to start the show, but it is what it is. This is what happens. Then Demetrius Johnson, who was traded to one for Ben Askren or whatever that crazy scenario was a few years back, is fighting, what's this guy's name? Oh, I don't even know the guy's name. Oh, Adriano Moraes. He hits him with a knee while he's on the ground, which, if it was in the UFC, he'd be disqualified. But this is one, and they have a different set of rules, which I can appreciate 100%. And he takes Demetrius Johnson out, and Demetrius Johnson quickly, let everybody know, like, this is the rule set. I don't not like it. He talked about recently people stalling in certain positions because they know that the other fighter can't really do the thing that they want to do. And he made a valid point then, and he makes a valid point now. This rule set's maybe a little bit better because it keeps the action going. But either way, if you're fighting in it, whatever the rule set is, you have to accept your wins the same way you accept your losses. As Demetrius Johnson said, he had done the same thing in an earlier fight and won. So how can you be mad at him for being a stand-up guy about this situation? Shout out to him and Moraes. Whew, that was serious. All right, so Rodtang went out and fought Daniel Williams, dropped him in the first with a left, and then Daniel Williams rose up, fought the rest of the fight courageously because he got cut later. There was a lot of issues that he was having to deal with Rodtang, and he was landing some stuff that Rodtang just really wasn't that affected by. So Rodtang went on to finish the fight, and win a unanimous decision. Showed a lot of heart for Daniel Williams, and they showed a lot of respect at the end. And overall, I would say one did a mediocre, okay job. The production's always good, but the fights didn't pay off, unfortunately. Hopefully down the road, as they present more and more, the fights will pay off a little better. I'm looking forward to seeing more Muay Thai, MMA. They do a little bit of everything at one, and I'm excited for it. So let's see what happens. All right. So we're about to have the 4-year anniversary party get-together situation. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. Because though I had to teach a lot of this stuff to myself in order to teach to other people, though my road has been crazy as hell, I definitely didn't walk it alone. I often looked like I was alone, but in reality, there's a lot of people behind the scenes keeping the ship afloat and keeping me afloat. So to all those people, my heart is so grateful for everything that you've all done to keep this thing going, man. Lucky's Muay Thai was an idea, and it still is. We have a location now, but the idea is still there, and it's to do martial arts as a family, to win together, lose together, love each other, and I love doing it. So shout out to Ben for believing in me enough to invest his money, which, we ended up losing a lot of in the beginning. Shout out to Jacob for coming on, William for helping out, my cousin for helping me with the front desk, everybody that pitched in and helped teach, that stuck around with me or followed me. All of those people, man, I love you all. And just so we are clear, all of those people that spoke negatively about me, that didn't believe in me, that, basically counted me out, I appreciate you too, because all I could think about was you the whole time I was trying to do this. And we're just starting, really. We're just getting our legs underneath us. And all I could think about during all those times where I just didn't know what was going to happen was you. All I could hear was your voices in my head, the things that I had heard, things that were definitely said, and I know who all of you are. I love y'all too, because your voices, the things you said, help motivate me to be here today. So thank all of you. I love you. Happy 4-year anniversary to every LMT member that we've ever had, every person I've ever coached and we won and coached and we lost, every person that has affected this movement. All I can say is thank you. Kapun Kap. Peace.